right. All right, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to work some more with
Wait, who's playing basketball? No one here?
But are you on?
Can you tell me the team?
Are you on the team? Yeah.
You are?
No.
Okay, he's lying. Okay, can you tell me?
Yes, you are.
Oh, you're
not?
No. Guys, you got problems.
Devon, Trey Hurt. He chose squad.
How he do that?
You want to see him?
Oh yeah, it was a crutches, yeah.
Alabama boys. Chris.
What team you think with it?
Oh no, because Vaughn and them, they suck. But the thing is, Jalen hoop like an old head. He gonna be guarding next year. Devon is gonna be guarding probably Bennett or something. Oh shoot, dang.
Who's coach? What team you coach? Devon?
Hey,
When is the
who you got
thing?
guarding?
Next period.
Who the shooter? No, it's not.
We go to next period and then we go to it.
It's today?
Yes.
I think it's gonna take.
Look at Power School.
No, Willow. I think he's gonna say tomorrow.
She said today. Yes, then they're basketball.
I'm gonna get Mo a take.
Oh wait, is that one with the
Next, it's after your page.
Jack Catherine came in. You guys,
who parked
it takes me ever to fix my attendance. Can we all just try to get here on time?
Yes.
I'm thinking you gonna say Wednesday,
Tomorrow.
maybe Thursday.
Oh, I bet it's the seats.
All right.
We need to see if it's next period or period.
All right, quiet. We've wasted enough
It's
time.
next
Let's
three.
go. Here we go. We're ready for 3D. Y plus 2 squared equals negative 4x. Now, I am going to put up on the board our little cheat thing for parabolas because we need to remember, we need to memorize which way they open. Because that is going to be critical to knowing where to put your focus and your directrix and all of that stuff. Okay?
I thought it was tripping.
Yeah, it's very toasty.
Okay, so if we have an x squared, all right guys, I have been on the go juggling 18,000 things since before 5 o'clock this morning at Cathedral High School, but since before 5 this morning. I am a little on the stress side. I am hotter than heck. I'm not going to put up with your crap, okay? Today we are quiet and attentive. I need everybody listening. I need us taking notes. If we missed yesterday, too bad, so sad. Watch the video, get caught up. We're not backing up. We do need to back up enough to remember that if we have a parabola, that's a parabola, we're in the parabola section. Positive coefficient, x squared is up. Negative coefficient is down, if it's x squared. If it's y squared, positive is right, negative is left. That is critical to your being able to put your focus, your directrix, axis, everything. You have to know which way it opens. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, is look at my parabola. Notice it's a y squared, and the coefficient is negative. That means I will be opening left. That's what that tells me right there. I'm going to be opening left. Now, where is my vertex? Notice there is nothing added or subtracted to the x, which means the x part is 0. But there is a +2 on the y, so where is my vertex? 0, -2. Remember, as always, when you pull a number out of a parentheses, it changes to the opposite. So 0, -2. All right? Now, we already decided it opened left, so I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick sketch. Remember, No one's ever grading your picture. The picture is there for you to use or not use. It's completely up to you. Once I have my vertex, and I know I'm opening to the left, I'm gonna go ahead and draw in my axis of symmetry. My axis of symmetry is the crease if I fold my parabola. When I fold this guy, that would be the crease. Would everybody agree with that if you folded it in half? So, what is the equation of that line? Well, notice which axis does it cross? The y. Where does it cross? -2. So this is the equation, y equals -2. That is your axis of symmetry. Now, who remembers, just look general location, not specific coordinates, but just general location. Where is your focus located? Oh boy. Inside the parabola on the axis of symmetry. So my focus is in here somewhere. I don't know where exactly. I'm going to figure that out, but I know that's where it is, because that's where the focus always is. Inside that parabola on the axis. Okay? Now I got to figure out where it is. So I need to know this distance right here, which is called P. In every problem you ever do, this coefficient is 4P. Now, you don't need to worry about the negative because we already took care of that. We're opening left. You can keep it or leave it. It doesn't matter. It's not going to change anything. So P is either going to be 1 or -1, right? And what does that mean? That means I'm going to back up 1 unit from that point. Now, I gave you graph paper so that you can better, maybe, figure out where that point is. If you start at 0, -2, and back up 1 space, what will be the coordinates of that point? -1, -2. Okay, you gotta be able to figure that out, folks. Look at your graph paper, count it off. -1, -2. If we backed up 1 to put the focus, we're going to go forward 1 to put our directrix. And we know the directrix is a line. So if you went forward 1, that point would be the point 1, -2. But we need the line. What axis does that line cross? X. So this is the equation, x equals 1. X equals 1. And then, one more thing you need to know, add in, but this is the easiest of all. This right here is called the focal width. And in every problem, that number right there is the focal width. Don't say negative. The focal width can't be negative. Does that make sense to you? It's 4. It's just 4. So the focal width is 4, which means this parabola is 4 wide through its focus. That number is always going to be the focal width. There's no math for you to do. You just need to remember it. All right, so let's look at the next one now, and let's see if you are warmed up and can put the pieces together here. Which way does this one open? Down. Why is it down? Because x is squared and the number is negative. That's down. X squared negative is down. Where is the vertex? I need the vertex. Where's the vertex? What? I thought somebody said something. -5, comma, 1. -5, 1. So let's look at our equation. Look at the equation. Do you see where the -5 and the 1 came from?
Yep.
The vertex comes from the parentheses, just like the center of a circle comes from the parentheses. Now, you already told me it opens down, so it looks something like this. So now I need my axis of symmetry. My axis of symmetry will be the crease if I folded it in half. So would you agree that this right here is the crease? It's an equation. Not a point, it's an equation. What is the equation of that line? Not x equals 1, x equals -5. So again, how does Charles know that it's x equals, which axis does it cross? X. Whatever axis it crosses, that's the letter. Why is it -5? Because it crosses at -5. Somewhere on that, inside the parabola, is your focus. Inside the curve on the parabola, you need to figure out what that point is. Okay? How far down am I going to go? What's my P this time? What? 4. Why is P 4? Because 4P is 16. That number is hugely important. It tells me lots. One of the things it tells me is 4P. So if 4P is 16, then P is 4, and I'm going to go down 4. So you have graph paper. Put your pencil at -5, 1, and count down 1, 2, 3, 4. Where are you? If you count down 1, 2, 3, 4, where are you there? What are the coordinates of that point? -5, -3? And if I counted down 4 for my focus, I'm going to count up 4 for my directrix. And again, count. Start it right here and go up. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the equation of this orange line? Y equals 5. And what is your focal width? What is the focal width of this parabola? 16. So, compared to this one, I know I just did rough sketches. No one's grading your graph. But compared to this one, would you agree that one's a lot fatter? Because that one's 16 across, and this one was only 4. So that one's a lot fatter. All right. Next one, without my help, I want you to plot the vertex, find the vertex and plot it, and then sketch your parabola opening whatever way you think it should open. All right, who's got a vertex for me? Where'd you start the action here?
-1.
Who said that?
Me.
Absolutely magnificent, Jarius. -1, 1. How's come he put the -1 first? Because it is x. And when you write a point, doesn't x have to come first? So even though it's last in the equation, -1, 1 is exactly correct. Nice work. Which way do you have it opening, people? Ooh, I hear down and left. Now, one of those is right because that's a negative, So I know I'm either going down or left. But which is being squared? Y. And if Y is being squared, I'm opening left. That chart will not be on the board on test day. You need to know that. You need to memorize x squared's up and down, y squared's left and right. All right, here's my axis of symmetry. What is that equation? Y equals 1. Very good, Evan. Some of us are on fire today. I feel like I'm literally on fire. Okay, where is my focus? I don't know exactly, but I know that it's inside the parabola on the axis. And I just need to figure out how far back to go. I'm gonna start here and go back. And how do I figure out how far to go? I call that P. And how do I find P? 4P is a half. So P is an eighth. So I'm going to leave my point there just so you can see a separation, but actually that point is like right here, right? It's right there. Okay, so I am going to start at -1, 1, and I am going to back up an eighth. Now, if you need to use a calculator to do that, wouldn't that be -1 minus an eighth? So if you need to use a calculator, you're going to get a decimal, -1.125, comma 1. So -1 and an eighth, comma 1. That's this point right here. If I came back an eighth, went this way an eighth, for my focus, I'm going to go that way an eighth. For my directrix, marker got shot. And that is going to be x equals -1 plus an eighth. You're starting at your starting point, which is -1, and you're going forward an eighth. So x equals -7/8. If you use a calculator to do that, it's fine. You will have a decimal. Y equals -0.875. Yes, fractions can be involved in this process. What's my focal width for that problem?
-1.5.
Never negative. Remember, our focal width is going to be positive, so our focal width is +1/2. So, I just erased my other parabolas, but relatively speaking, this guy is skinny, right? Really skinny. All right, got a couple more and then we'll move on. Anybody think you know the vertex of this one? What do you think the vertex is? 3, -4. Very nicely done. 3, -4. I need everybody in the room to understand that the vertex is a 3, -4. Everybody got it? Which way does this one open? Left again. That's weird, but it does open to the left. Now, can you identify the axis of symmetry? Can you identify the equation of that pink line right there? What would the equation of that pink line be? Y equals -4. Y equals -4. And again, no one cares about your picture, but it can help you. It can help you. It's just easier. If you look at the picture, draw that line in, it's y equals -4. You're gonna see it crossing right there at -4. Somewhere in here is my focus. I don't know where it is. I can figure out where it is if I know this distance right here, which is P. What's P this time? What'd you say? 5/2, 2.5, 2.5, 10 divided by 4. 4P is 10. So P is 2.5, 2.5, whatever, 5/2, however you want to think about it. So what are you going to do to find your focus? You're going to start right here, and you're going to back up 2.5. So where are you? If you start here and back up 2.5, where are you? 0.5, -4. So you're at 0.5, -4. You started at 3 and backed up 2.5. Now, if you backed up 2.5, you're going to have to go forward 2.5. So if you start at 3 and go forward 2.5, where will you be? 5.5. That's an equation which will be x equals or y equals. X equals 5.5. Very, very good. And what is our focal width this time? 10. Always positive on the focal width, you guys. Always positive. All right, one more. I want you to take a second and try this one on your own, you and your partner. I want you to find all that stuff. So I want you to find the vertex, the axis of symmetry, which way does it open, all that stuff.
What? Ooh. Yes. It's going up or down. Up. The point is negative. Then we find the axis.
The number change?
The axis is what? X is -2.
P equals 2.
What? No. Wait, what?
P equals 2. Sir.
This is 26. Oh, it's a 2.
Oh, good.
No, it's 1/2.
Okay.
Is that what you said?
When they cross it, no, it's 2.
Because you're dividing by.
X is 4. That's wrong on there. Miss 4.
Okay, so
It's
this
4P
is...
equals 2/2. That's a
What is that?
Okay.
Wait, should I be?
No.
It's
Right.
oh, yeah, parabola.
Is your symmetry -2? So the y...
So we're going up.
All right,
Yeah.
let's just touch base and make sure we got the first two things done. Where'd you put your vertex?
-2, -3.
Very good. If you put your vertex at -2, -3, you're off to a good start. Now, which way did you open it?
Up.
Up, perfect. Then you probably got your axis of symmetry okay. What is your axis of symmetry?
-2.
Don't say -2.
X.
X equals -2. Remember, it is a line, so it has to have an equation. Okay? All right, now is when things get a little bit hurt. Oh, well, what's the focal width? Yeah, so everybody gets that point right. We don't miss that.
Nope.
Now, the focus and directrix, sometimes we can mess up on. So if you put your focus in here somewhere, it has to be on that line inside the curve somewhere. Now, to figure out where it is, you're gonna have to go up. From this point right here, you're gonna have to go up. How much are you going to go up? A half. Because 4p is 2, so you're going up a half. So if you're down here at -3, and you go up a half, that point will be -2, -2.5, or -2.5. And if you went up, so -3 plus a half. You can do that on your calculator. -3 plus 1/2. This is what you get. Now, go down. So this will be -3 minus a half. So what did you put? Did I put it down here?
Y equals 3.5.
-3.5. Yep, that's exactly right. Yep, good job. Good job. Okay. Now we are going to I'll leave that there. Do it backwards. Look at what's happening here. We have a focus at -2,3 and a vertex at 1,3. So this is my focus, this is my vertex. And your job is to write the equation of the parabola. So, like here's an equation. You're gonna come up with an equation that has something squared equal to a number times something not squared. That's what your parabola equation looks like. So we're gonna have a squared quantity, a number, and a not squared quantity. This is my focus, this is my vertex. Can anybody tell me anything about the parabola, just based on that? What? It's pointing left, it's opening left. How does Cam know that? Well, remember, the parabola encloses its focus. The focus is always inside the parabola. So if that's the vertex, do you see how it couldn't be opening up? Or down, or right? That wouldn't work with the focus, so it opens to the left. All right, let's stop right there. What does that tell me about my equation? If I'm opening to the left, y is the squared, so y goes in the squared one, x goes in the other one, and what else does it tell me? Whatever that number is, it is negative. Would you agree with that? Now, if I know that my vertex is 1, 3, can I plug the 1 and the 3 into my equation? Yep. So x minus 1, y minus 3. Remember, x has got to go with x, y's got to go with y. Man, you're almost done. The only thing you don't know is that number. You know it's negative, you just don't know how big it is. Any thoughts on that? Work it backwards now. What's this distance? That focus is at -2, 3. So remember, this distance right here is p. What's p? 1 back to -2. What's p? How many steps is that? 3? So p is 3? Well, if p is 3, then this number's got to be -12. That's exactly right. Because remember, this number right here is always 4p. Always. So if we know p is 3, then we know that coefficient has to be 12. Okay? Cool, little puzzle. All right, let's look at this one. The vertex is at negative 1, 2. That's my vertex. And the directrix is y equals 6. So again, we're writing an equation. That looks like this. Now before I can start putting any numbers in, I have to figure out which letter is squared. So this is the directrix. So that's like this guy right here. That's the directrix. This is my vertex. Does this thing open up? Would that make sense? No.
It opens down.
Oh, it opens down. Absolutely it opens down. It opens down. Because, look at this one we did earlier. The focus has to be inside the curve. And if the focus is up, the directrix is down. If the focus is left, the directrix is right. They're opposite directions. So, if the focus is inside the curve, does it make sense to you this can't be left? That just doesn't make sense, because then the focus would be left, but the directrix is up. That doesn't make sense. So we open down. All right, what does that mean if we open down? X is squared. Now you can put in your vertex. So it'll be x plus 1 and y minus 2. That's your vertex. Also, won't this number be negative again? Because down is negative. Well, I know that number is 4p. Do I know p? I actually do, because p is the distance to the focus, but it's also the distance to the directrix, because don't you go the same amount each way? So how far up did I go here? I started here at 1,2, and I went all the way up to 6. So this is 4, which means this number is a negative 16.
You multiply it, you usually divide it. Yeah,
All right, we got time for one more. All right, so, oh boy. Focus at negative 1, 3. That's the focus, I'm gonna label it. And the directrix, x equals 7. Which way is it open? What do you think? Left. It opens left. Remember, that's the focus, not the vertex. The vertex is out here somewhere. It opens left. So y is being squared and your coefficient's negative. That is left. How am I gonna find my vertex? Well, do I know the y is 3?
Yes.
And won't my x be right in the middle of -1 and 7?
Yeah.
Because I go the same amount each way. So what is the average of -1 and 7? -1 plus 7 is, -1 plus 7 is 6, divided by 2 is 3. So this is the point 3 comma 3. What's P? How far is it from -1, 3 to 3, 3? 4. So this number is again -16. All right. I will assign that homework next time. So if you want to go ahead and get started on it, you can. I already assigned the circle homework. So some of you have turned it in.